All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the official Trade Talk channel, where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you all become better traders. We got NFP this morning. We didn't do a live stream yesterday because, well, there wasn't anything to trade, and also with NFP being today, I just figured we would do it today. So currently what we're looking at, Bitcoin trading sideways. You did get a little bit of a bounce. Monthly support is still currently holding. The one thing that we don't like about the monthly support level, though, is that the weekly has closed below it. So there's your monthly support. If we go over here to the weekly time frame, you can see last week you closed below it, and this week you have not been able to get anything going. Today is Friday. Very choppy, small, range-bound conditions. Here is the Fibonacci retracement of last week's range. You can see that we have not even tested the 50% retracement. Not a lot of stuff going on. If we scroll this out, you can see right up here is where the 50% retracement of last week's range is. And this is going to be last week's high. This is going to be last week's low. Now, yesterday I was kind of watching to see if this thing was going to get down into these areas. We would have looked for potential longs there, but it did not. It traded right down to it and then just kind of got the spike up. So yeah, not a lot of stuff doing. Everything still looks bearish. If we go over here to the S&P 500, you're going to see that this is still very, very bearish. You are bouncing off of, old weekly resistance as well as daily support. Here on the daily time frame, there is your daily support level. Here is that old weekly resistance. If we get rid of this intraday stuff, you can see that yesterday you traded right down to it, and then you got a small bounce. A small bounce. It was, a nice little wick, but you're still not doing anything. There's that bounce right there. Just 3 hours worth of expansion. Not that great. And then for the last, since yesterday at 4 o'clock, you've went absolutely nowhere. If you pull this out, you can look at where you closed the previous day. That will be your support level. And then intraday, that seems to be the level that is currently trying to hold. Now, one thing that is very important for new traders to understand is that a lot of people want to basically look to see what does the numbers mean, right? What does a positive NFP mean? Does that mean it is bullish for risk, or does that mean it's bearish for risk? Also, is that going to be bullish for Bitcoin or bearish for Bitcoin and FX, right? Or, whatever else, anything like that. So basically, there's the market's reaction to the news. That's what we have to look at. We get the number. We see what the number is. Is it a beat? Is it a miss? And then how does the market respond to that? Since you have been very, very bearish for a long time, let's see here, 3 weeks to be exact, of straight down bearish price action, what are we looking for? Well, there's two things that can happen, obviously. We've already taken out yesterday's high. So if it's going to be bullish news, you would probably want to see a miss, as since we had news last Friday in the form of Fed Chair Powell saying that they're still going to be pretty aggressive moving on with the rate hikes. A lower job a good jobs number would mean that they still have room to hike the rate. So a beat could potentially have the market looking for lower prices, and you know where the liquidity sits. The liquidity sits under yesterday's low. So I don't really see a trade on the SPX right now. Next level to watch would be that, but if we go back out to the weekly, you're going to see that the weekly open is all the way up there. So you could potentially get a spike to there, and then the market could resume to getting back into the sell-off. Now, we need to know, we are waiting on inflation, CPI, and the PCE numbers to see if we're going to start trending lower. As long as oil is trending to the downside, I think that could be a possibility. Doesn't mean inflation is going to be good. But lower CPI and a trending lower CPI over month could be bullish for the markets. But as long as oil is high, then inflation can stay high as well. There's a really good video out that TXMC Trades did. If you're not following him on YouTube, go give him a check him out. He tells you basically about how oil prices can manipulate inflation and keep it high or whatnot. If we go over to oil real quick, a lot of people are looking at this as a breakout. Let's get on to the daily time frame. A lot of people were watching this as a breakout. So people were starting to get bullish on oil. They were expecting prices to climb again. However, if I get rid of this subjective trend line and look at objective prices, I'm going to show you something that is, something that's important. Here is your highest bullish close for the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks, right there, 98.28. You can see that is resistance on the weekly time frame. If you come back into the daily time frame, you're going to see right there is that daily close. What is special about that daily close? Well, that daily close broke out above resistance right there. It was a nice push higher into supply, but it still broke out. It still closed above, and then you got this big bearish reaction the very next day. So this was a trap right at weekly resistance. So what do we know about trap candles and when price reacts bearishly after a bullish breakout? That is typically going to be supply. If you look right over here, where did we trade up to? Boom, supply. And then oil fell right back down, closing below the objective support level of $87.10. Today you're getting a slight bounce, but you haven't taken out yesterday's high yet. You haven't taken out yesterday's low yet. So that means you're trading inside of yesterday's range. We're not going to really pay attention to oil right now, but if I pull up the weekly time frame here, you're going to see that oil is still up pretty good, right? Here is the high for 2022. This white line is your 2022 low, and then the yellow line is your 2022 open. So oil still has a lot of room to go back to the downside before it even starts to look like we're going to see oil pull back. So currently you're still bullish on the year on oil prices. If I fib this from swing high to swing low, swing low to swing high rather, you can see that we have broken down on a weekly closing basis below the 618, below the 702, below basically every Fibonacci retracement level that people keep an eye on. So if this level holds on a weekly closing basis, there is a pretty decent chance you could see prices trade back up to 93.21, and that's where I would expect resistance to come in and see if we could get this oil thing to roll over here. So that could help inflation. If that helps inflation with lowering oil prices with a trending lower CPI number, then we could look for bullish positions. But the trade has been and still is structured to the downside. If we pull up Ethereum, we've been trading Ethereum a little bit more than other assets lately because Ethereum moves a little bit better than Bitcoin, especially when Bitcoin is trending sideways. Ethereum gives better opportunities. You can see that Ethereum traded right up to last week's open. And if we go into the daily time frame, you're going to see that we have indeed broken above this descending trend line. Let me get it on the right candles. There you go. So yesterday you did close above it. However, that was not a very big range yesterday. But it is good. It is good to see a breakout. But what you want to see when you get the breakout is bullish continuation. Now, there's a good chance that the reason today you're not seeing that bullish continuation is because of the NFP number that's coming up in 10 minutes. So our game plan today on Ethereum is we are watching, today's low. You've already taken out yesterday's high, so a spike up to there could be a selling opportunity at 16.19. A spike below today's low, if we were looking to be a buyer there because the news is good, like a miss would be probably good for risk if you got a miss on the jobs number, because that means if the jobs numbers, if unemployment starts to rise, then the Fed may become a little bit more dovish. So far, the Fed, a lot of the Fed presidents are saying that there is no way that you're going to see any rate cuts before 2023 till at least the third quarter, and there's no guarantee that you'll see them then. So the rest of the year, we can expect rate hikes. Rate hikes is typically bearish for risk. So a lower jobs print could be, or unemployment, a higher unemployment tick could be bullish, but a lower unemployment tick could be bearish, meaning the Fed still has tons of room to rate hike. And right now, there's like a 70.1% chance that we're going to see a 75 basis point hike. on September the 11th, or is it September the 13th? Let's go see real quick. Bright screen incoming. We still got 10 minutes till the number. We're not taking any positions until we get the number. We want to see central bank calendars. Let's see here. We got FOMC coming in September the 21st. Oh, I was way off. September the 21st. CPI will be on the 13th, which is a Tuesday. You got a couple weeks before that occurs as well. So we got, a couple weeks before we see any real big high event risk news items. So we can basically just watch price action. That's what we're going to focus on. So right now, what seems to be holding is yesterday's close. That is technical resistance for today. So that's yesterday's close. This is where you're bouncing. It doesn't look like it's yesterday's close, but it is, because it's this little hourly candle right there. That's the open of the fresh daily candle. So that is technically where the line should be, right there. And you can see how you've had multiple hourly wicks under that level, but you keep getting a bounce. So what is it? It's trying to do is it's trying to maintain the daily open for a potential bullish bounce. Taking a trade at support, which would be this candle because it's the lowest close in today's range, that's where you would be looking for bullish entries on a normal trading day, right? But you definitely also need to know where is the point of control. It is under. This is good news. But you can also see resistance is being held up by, not yesterday, but the day before's point of control. So you got quite a bit of volume stacked up where we are, and we are wedging up, tightening up that price. So we are expecting a pretty big move either direction this morning. And the first direction will more than likely be faded, is what our game plan is. So if I was going to be looking for bullish positions, my favorite thing to see would be an hourly spike all the way down to today's low and take that out and then get a bullish reaction. As far as taking out today's high, well, it's yesterday's high would have been more important to me, but instead we've taken out that was yesterday's high right there. So we've already taken that out, but you haven't been able to trade above that price either. So it's we kind of got a couple levels to watch, and we're going to watch them. We're going to look for entries as well. Excuse me. As per usual on these live streams, I will throw out entry position stops that I am looking at. It is up to you if you take that position or not. My total risk on today's entry will be 2%. That means if I lose the trade, I will lose 2% of my overall net liquidity inside of the trading account. I suggest you do the same. If you're using a lot of leverage, this strategy will not work for you. So whatever money you lose based off of an entry that I give is on you. Let me put this cigarette out. So yeah, now that we got the risk disclaimer out of the way, it's on you. What if you decide to take this position? It's on you, because I'm not always right. And if you take a big position with a lot of leverage based on an entry that I provide and it ends up being wrong, you're going to want to blame me, and that's not going to be able to happen. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Bitcoin getting bought up. It does appear that way. Let's go ahead and get back over on Bitcoin. We will be looking at the ETH trade instead, simply because it is more volatile. And, a 4% move on ETH, Bitcoin gets a 1% move, then you're definitely going to want to be in the Ethereum position instead. There is very few times when Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum. And we can see that by just going to ETH BTC, as these two assets are trading each other. And since Ethereum is the base currency, then that means if this asset is trending up, there's Pepe. A couple of you were asking if Pepe was going to be joining us. It appears he is. But yeah, since you can see that Ethereum is trending up, then that means Ethereum is currently stronger than Bitcoin. ETH BTC has liquidated this swing high and is currently trading into resistance. So if this holds as resistance and starts to trend lower again, then Bitcoin could outperform Ethereum. But as you can see right now, Ethereum is the outperformer. But let's go look at Bitcoin because there is something I want to show you. If we drop down to the 8-hour time frame, you're going to see that basically you're trading sideways inside of this range. Right here, if I can get the line, boom, that's going to be your top end of your range, and then boom, there's the bottom end of your range. So not closing an 8-hour candle under here yesterday had us more bullish than bearish, but we were looking for the short on Ethereum because dollar was trending higher, right? And if the dollar's trending higher, then we look for that to be the stronger position. So if dollar's stronger than Ethereum, you're looking for shorts on Ethereum USD. But on Bitcoin USD, you can see that looked, more bullish than bearish. Had you got a close under, then we would have been looking for short positions. And then you can see as soon as you put in this closure here, you got a nice wick to the downside and then a big bullish reaction. We were trying to trade that yesterday morning, but we were watching this low. We wanted to see Bitcoin trade down to it, as that would have been a support test. And you can see that you did not get there, so it did not provide an entry for us. Very close, but it did not do it. So, and on Ethereum, it's even worse. That entry was worse. So if we go out here to the 8-hour time frame again, get rid of that, get rid of this. You can see Ethereum has already broken out. And that is your downside area that you were looking for. And then there was your range high. So you can see Ethereum didn't even come down as low as Bitcoin on this bullish candle. So Ethereum's entry, it didn't provide one. I was up very early in the morning and we were already up in here. So there wasn't an entry to take. There was not an entry to take. But you can see we did close above that. So even though it is looking a little bit more bullish just from the last several trading sessions, it's not extremely bullish either. That is a legit breakout. You're trading inside. So yeah, those two areas will be very, very good to watch depending on how big this spike is from the news in 2 minutes. So we'll keep ETH pulled up. Let's go ahead and get our chart situated here. We want to watch Ethereum. We're going to keep it on the small time frame, but we do want to watch those areas there because that is the current liquidity. Daily low, daily high. What we got here? ETH. Let's pull up the SPX. It's trading at the top end of the range before the news. Got 1 minute on the news. And you did just smoke the liquidity on that. We want Bitcoin over here. And we will watch the dollar. Dollar's trending higher. Getting a slight pullback today. Nothing major. Low of day is here. High of day is going to be there. A dollar trending near the bottom end of the range. So if we get a spike down to there and then a bullish reaction, we will be looking to sell Ethereum. Selling Ethereum at hourly res. Here is the print. We're getting that initial spike up. So right now on Coinbase, you have liquidated the daily high and you are getting a bearish reaction. So your short entry would be 1611.00 if you get a spike back up there. Current resistance on the Bitget exchange is 20. Oh, that's Bitcoin. I need Ethereum. So unprepared. Current hourly resistance on Bitget 1596.14. So if you take that trade there, your stop would be above there. You're looking for a push down into this region. Remember, using a ton of leverage in a very very fast moving market like this will be detrimental to your account. But this would be your sell entry. If you get back up there 1611, stop loss 1620. Dollar is still pushing down without getting a bullish reaction at the low of day. SPX, extremely bullish. Let's get back over on the economic calendar. I don't really care about news. Why are you not doing anything? So it was a beat. No, it was a miss. Which is, it's actually a beat because this is how many unemployed. And if you got lower unemployed, then that's actually a beat. Lower unemployment is probably not going to be good for risk. So hourly resistance on SPX currently is here. We don't have any daily levels. It doesn't appear like it's going to give us that entry. And this wick high has to be your stop. There's that bullish reaction back above low of day on the DXY. Bitcoin's, all the volume or the point of control is at roughly around 21,000. No, it's $20,100. You did make a fresh daily high on Bitcoin as well. We're kind of waiting to see if we get a pushback up to there. That would be the most best entry. Stop above the wick high. If it will give us it. We don't know if it's going to. Very volatile environments. You want to use as little risk as possible. Small positions even. Because if it is getting it faded, if this initial spike to the upside is going to be faded, then you will get a big move to the downside. Maybe it doesn't happen today. Maybe it happens tomorrow. But either way, you're definitely looking for those opportunities. So that's intraday resistance. You're trading well above that. Let's go back to the weekly. So you didn't even get up to there. So it looks like the SPX wants to close bearish on the week. That would be the last week's open. You still haven't closed the 5-minute candle yet, so we'll have to see how the market takes this news. Dollar's back under the low of day. That's not typically what we want to see if we want to be short risk. But it is still very, very early. You got an hour before the market open. So let's get rid of the point of control because price is currently trading above it. You can see that for a very long time, you haven't really done anything. Even with this spike, you did make a fresh daily high, but you're not really doing anything with it, are you? I kind of figured you would get a much bigger spike on Ethereum. I kind of figured that you would smoke that liquidity there, but it didn't. Not yet anyways. Morning, Heath and crew. GBA long. Let's go, Pepe. Good morning. Gonna be an interesting session. Yes, for sure. For sure. SPX is right back up to what we were calling intraday resistance. Ethereum still has not made it back to 1611. That's the previous high of day on Coinbase. The previous high of day on Ethereum on the Bitget exchange is 1610.78. But you're trading well above hourly resistance. You got 24 minutes until the hourly close. I am assuming the SPX, unless it gets a big nasty reversal, which I don't think it will. I mean, it should based on the news, right? That, once again, that brings up, no matter what the number is, 526 jobs lost. No matter what the number is, it's how does the market react to that number. That's what's important. And even if it does trend up for the rest of the day, we could look for resistance tomorrow. Because if it's going to be faded tomorrow, well, tomorrow will be Saturday, so it's unlikely that it happens over the weekend. So the move will happen today. We haven't got up there yet. You just almost tagged it. This is about the area that we would want to be entering the short. Bitcoin barely made a fresh high day. And I mean barely. Ethereum pushing up to the liquidity zone. That will be the highest portion of the range. There was a spike, let it come back lower because that is a lot of buy orders triggering into the market currently. So let the spike keep going before you take the short. There's no guarantee that it will come lower, so we want to see this, right? Get back under that. And then start to trade away from it in the next 15 minutes. So we can use that wick now as a stop. Trending higher. Takes a little bit of time. That's why I said don't throw in your buy or your sell limit yet. Don't do it yet. Just give it a second. We want to see it act bearish. This is not bearish. When you trigger a bunch of new buy orders into the market, that is obviously going to make price spike higher to the upside. And if it is going to be a rejection, we want to see it soon. Otherwise, we don't look to trade it to the downside till you run into resistance. And there really isn't much to run into. Notice how the dollar is still kind of trading around yesterday or today's low, not really getting the spike that you're seeing on Ethereum. Remember, Ethereum is the outperformer. That's why it is much bigger of a move. Much higher, and you're going to be about midpoint range of the hourly candle, which would suggest a legit breakout. Would suggest a legit breakout. SPX still trading on the highs of day. DXY still trading at the low of day. So there's not really many places to look for any entries. This is the highest resistance area. So if this is going to remain bullish for the day, this is about where you would want to see it roll over. But you can see that your risk is going to be extremely big. So you would need a bullish continuation move of epic proportions. Bitcoin isn't even broken out yet. Bitcoin is still at the high of day. DXY getting that push. Alright, this is the level, but see that Bitcoin would probably be the safer trade today because of the structure. Ethereum is well above its entire range. And remember, Ethereum did break out of a descending trend line. So you're getting a bullish reaction. Or I mean bullish follow through. Bitcoin not so much, not yet. For downside continuation, you would want to see that low remain. You have liquidated yesterday's high and today's high on the SPX. So you made a fresh daily high today. You took out yesterday's high. You take out this day's high, then it's going to look less bearish. But you can see that that's a big move to the downside. So looking for bearish entries all the way down here. Not my favorite trade to take. You haven't even hit overbought areas on the RSI, on neither Bitcoin, Ethereum. Well, that's on the 4-hour. Yeah, it's not overbought. It's not anything. It's not as big of a move it's not as big of a move as I thought we would see. "17 minutes on the close." Brian wants to look at GOV and TLT. TLT's not open. It's not tradable yet. And neither is GVA. I don't know why you'd be looking for longs on those things. Unless you're looking for oversold markets. You're not even in oversold markets. So I'm not quite sure why you want to long either one of those. You just wanted to see the tickers and my reaction. My reaction is I wouldn't be trading either one of these assets. Today's close, I mean, even if you do get a bounce, it's just going to be a little bounce. And you're bearish on the week. This is gapping lower. You're well under any legit support or resistance levels. I mean, you do got a support level on the daily right there. I don't know that it holds, but that is an objective support level. Bitcoin, a lot of lines on the chart. Let's get rid of that. We know that this line is older. It's just this week's low. So we'll put it right on the daily because that's what we would want it on. It's close to the 50% retracement. But I'm not sure you're going to get there. Daily resistance is there. Look at the DXY, guys. You're at your short entry on Ethereum. But that's a lot of risk. Not quite there. A lot of risk. Euro USD had a nice spike, made a fresh high of day, traded right into hourly intraday supply. And now you're back under parity. I'm glad I didn't take that short entry on the Euro USD because you would have been stopped out. That's the hardest part of taking entries, obviously. You just don't know what's going to happen until you get more time. But we are looking for, as of now, you know, it looks like it is going to be faded. This is daily resistance. That is the previous day's high. Ethereum coming off quite a bit now. Risking 1650 at the previous day's high. Would look terrible. So you'd have to fade the entirety of the move just to get a 1.5 to 1 risk to reward. My short entry is a little bit higher than that at 1628.70, risking that wick high. It's still a little bit early because we got 9:30. That's when you're going to get the last bit of the volume. And that is the area where I said if you stop, you could likely see bullish continuation. And it stopped dead there, like right there. Let's do something real quick. Let's just see how bad it got. Not too bad. Yeah, peter out. Pretty big expansion there. That's the outside expected range. News will do that. Bitcoin's still not looking bad. DXY trading into resistance. Was Euro into support. No, that is support. So if you think the dollar is going to be a fade, then you're going to be watching Euro USD at 0.99729 for bullish entries. Obviously, that means shorting risk is not going to be the play. You are getting a slight bounce off of hourly resistance, so it could potentially be support. Remember, SPY was extremely sold off, like really bad. You're massively overbought on the little day time frame. Typically, you would not want to see a 5-minute closure above that. You do get that, then the short trade is probably not in But like I said, we still got plenty of time. I have to kick on the fan as I am sweating again. Not typically what I want to see. Like if it's going to be a bullish move, I like to see it be bearish first. But it doesn't always happen. I ain't touching the red button today. You don't have to. You do not have to. At all. Bitcoin's still trading up there. So that's a bullish move. And you're not getting that instant rejection you would want to see. Right? This could still end up being a bullish trade. But if I was looking for a bullish trade, I wouldn't want to buy the highs. You're in an overbought market. The best trade would probably be that of Euro USD, and that would have been at hourly support, but you didn't get a tag of hourly support. Good morning, Heath and crew. Good morning, Lachey or Lashy. Not exactly sure how to say that. Short Bitcoin 20,600. If you got up there today, that would be an extremely big move to the upside. But you can watch it. I don't think you're going to get there today. And like I said, since today's Friday, if you're going to fade this bullish move, you would want to see that fade happen today, or at least start to happen today, because you're going into the weekend. A risk and dollar and all those trades aren't going to be until Mondays. Is it possible that you get a gap down on all that stuff? It is. But we do occasionally see big moves on the weekend. But if this is going to be a fade based on it being a miss, and the market decides to say, well, that means the Fed, or that we have lower unemployment numbers, that means the Fed is going to be able to hike fast and aggressive like they have been. So the market could take that bearishly. But the market could also take it bullishly, because more hikes on rates is a fight against inflation. That's what I mean. Like, even if you know what should happen on a newsprint, it doesn't really help you. Did you take out yesterday's high on oil? 89.63. What's today's high? 89.64. You did by 1 penny. You took out yesterday's high on oil. Which bullish oil doesn't mean that, everything else is going to be bullish. Nice resistance area to watch on short oil plays. Is that one higher? Not really. 89.25. This came right into the hourly resistance and bounced. SPX pushing back higher. If the move will be faded, this is as high as you would want to see it go. And it's not as high as you're going to see it go. It just pushed right up into there. Which is just simply hourly resistance. There. 4 minutes left on the close. So that means you're going to have a breakout on Ethereum. Because that's your highest point. So probably not going to be a short. Also notice how big the candle is to the breakout point. There is no daily resistance on Ethereum to attack. You are trading well above, and that is today's open. You do have a slight point of supply you could watch there, but maybe that would be the better short entry on Ethereum. You're already trading above where you would have probably wanted to see this thing roll over. There's ways to trade this. You could short Ethereum, get long Euro, if the Euro gives you the ability. That means the dollar is back down. Right? Resistance is holding on it. And in 2 minutes you got your close. A close back under that's not going to look good. Bitcoin trying to break out on an hourly hourly closing basis. You've got a lot more stuff to watch on it. Yeah, the 4-hour time frame just started. Yeah. Lots of stuff up there. Bitcoin has been the laggard for sure. But you're definitely going to close above today's resistance. This intraday resistance. Unemployment was higher. Oh, I see. But still, does it even matter? A higher unemployment rate, that's why the market's taking it bullish, but it can absolutely get faded still. That's why you're getting a bullish spike, I guess. The market will trade however it feels like trading. And it's usually in the direction that hurts the most people, since everybody and their brothers are looking for short side continuation, because bear market, then yeah, it's probably going to go higher. All right. On Bitget at the weekly, you're above last week's open on Ethereum. That is definitely bullish. It looks better, right? Being above that. Anything under it looks bad, but anything above it looks good. But you still have all of that. I mean, you got tons of supply. And you can see that in the way the point of controls are on Ethereum. Let's see how the market reacts at the open. There was your close. Bitcoin closed below, but just barely. Actually, it closed right there. That's above. That's your, what was that? Daily res. Point of control today and yesterday looks like bullish continuation. Ethereum closed above resistance, well above it. That's not resistance. This is resistance here. You see that you close well above it. So I would hold off on any short positions on Ethereum. That would be what, weekly demand or supply? Was that what that was? Because I didn't label it. Yeah. Where's daily supply? Right there. So since we closed above hourly resistance, we don't need to look at that anymore. Potential areas of resistance: 1700 and 1656. That the XY closed above support. Euro, the DXY is giving really good entries, but not Euro. Euro closing above resistance. Back above parity. So parity looks good for bullish continuation. No shorty on Ethy. Finding resistance a little bit there, but I mean, yesterday was a big bearish move too on Euro. But still above daily support. So it wasn't a terrible move. Ethereum pushing up. You're shorting ETH at 1690 if you get there today. What is 1690? Man, that would be a big move to get up there. That means your daily would be right up there. That would be a big expansion for today. Euro hasn't done anything for weeks. Bitcoin pushing up. SPX closed above resistance ever so slightly. Well, let's see where we push up to, up until the open. Good job, close my short. Good job on recognizing that that's not doing what you want it to do, so therefore there's no point in eating a whole stop. Any thoughts on EWZ? I don't even know what EWZ is. Is it a stock? MCSCI Brazil ETF. I have no clue what this is for. It's been bearish for a very long time. Chopping around inside of ranges. I mean, no, I don't. You're not anywhere where you would be looking for any kind of entries. I guess on the smaller time frame you could watch, because you do have a weekly bearish engulfing. You can see where this ends up being on a daily time frame. Yeah, I mean, if 3077 holds as resistance, it's probably going to go lower. Big downtrend, you're probably getting a bull market rally, the same as SPY and everything else. currently, a bear market rally, you're down 36% at the lows. So, I mean, if SPX finds support and continues moving higher, then this will likely do the same. I don't know what it is, though. GU tanking. It's an inside day. It has been tanking for sure. Retail has been long this thing for a long time, and you've been getting downside continuation because retail's trying to pick the bottom. You can look right here and see 80% of clients are net long on pound dollar, and you've just been continuing lower day after day after day after day. But today, not really tanking. To be fair, you did make a fresh low of day. Pound is weaker than the euro even. Yeah, way weaker than the euro. Has been for multiple weeks. They're trading into potential resistance, but you got a bullish engulfing currently on the day. You took out yesterday's low with that little tiny wick to the downside. You're trading above yesterday's high. So I don't know if I'd be looking to short it. I definitely don't want to be shorting pound. Pound is just a no-go asset, right? I mean, if you think it's the low, go ahead and buy it, but I don't know if it's going to be the low. And you got big euro oil shortages or energy shortages projected in the next several months up into next year. Like skyrocketing energy prices. Projected. It's not doing it yet, but it's projected to happen. So there's nothing to trade on it. Kind of, sort of isn't anything to trade on the euro either, because you're trading down here at parity, and you have been trading down here at parity for a long time, multiple weeks, and you're not getting anything going to the downside or to the upside. Yesterday looks like we would be looking for downside continuation, but you're at the lows, so trying to short an asset at the lows doesn't make that much sense. What's going on there? 66% of clients are long, so yeah. Watch 100,160's daily supply. If you close today's candle above this price, then you can't look for the short, because that means you're probably looking for 100,549. But if you can't even close an hourly above there, above the white line here, then it still looks okay for a short. So watch this price. Instead of trading pound, trade euro. And the dollar, hasn't really been breaking out, but look at USD JPY. With that monthly close last month, man, was so strong. Look at what you've done already this month. You're at all-time highs on this asset. Now, we know that that's based on yen weakness, not so much dollar strength for the last, week or so. You're still bullish on the week. You took out this, and you've been struggling at July's high. That's July's high right there. But you closed above it yesterday. So today's going to be looked at with pullback potential. If you get a bearish candle, though, like a big drop today, that's going to be good for Bitcoin and Ethereum. and SPX. So you're red on the day by 0.39%. There's really nothing there. Maybe here is where it wants to stop today. It's a long ways down for that. It's just been chopping around. It's hard to trade that, right? Lower, low, lower, low, lower, low, higher, high. Then boom, 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 boom. It's difficult to trade that. It's because it's so extended to the upside. Everybody's trying to short it. But that's a fresh breakout. That's a fresh breakout above daily resistance and above July's high. And a close above it. So as long as yesterday's low remains intact, this is still structured and looks bullish, which is why we're continuously looking to potentially fade today's bullish reaction. You're testing the 50 on the RSI right now. Right now. And you're currently trading above the 21 on the daily right now. So where does this close today? You're angled up, but it's only because today's trading above it. Right? If today closes back under it, then it's going to be straight. And then you'll be back under. Well, you'll be close. The breakout has already occurred on Ethereum as far as your downtrend. As far as downtrend resistance. Or descending trend line resistance. You broke out above it yesterday. Today you're getting bullish continuation. So this changes, a lot of people's minds, but it can do the same thing that oil did also. Right, what did oil do yesterday or last week? It did the same thing. It broke above downtrend resistance. Broke above it. Got a little bit of bullish continuation right up into that weekly supply zone or daily supply zone and down. Yesterday you closed back under it. Today you're back over it. I mean, trend lines, I don't really use them to get my bias. One can, but I don't suggest it. SPX fresh high on the day. Let's get Bitcoin back over here. Trading high-risk news events, not my favorite thing to do, obviously, because usually it doesn't work out. Bitcoin trading above daily resistance. Bitcoin hasn't been able to get anything going lately. And still really isn't. I mean, you're still mocked up in this range. This is where we got to see Bitcoin close above, like Ethereum has already done, for bullish continuation. Excuse me. I just got here. Was it a good news or bad news for the market? Well, you had lower unemployment, higher unemployment, apologies, but lower non-farm payrolls. Revised 526K. So I don't know if this was the number It's revised from this number, was this last month's number. They were forecasting 300,000, you got 315. But your unemployment rate is actually higher. But remember, the Fed said that they're okay with cutting rates as long as this number remains under 4.1. So even though you got a little bit higher, a little bit lower of a print, previous 3.5, forecasted 3.5, actual is 3.7. It's higher unemployment rate. That's typically not bullish for the market, but we're in a high inflationary environment. So the market essentially knows that, higher unemployment will reluctantly make the Fed become dovish over time. But 3.7 is not really anything. A dovish Fed means bullish markets. But the Fed is not dovish. And he come out and said that, you could see as high as a 75 basis point hike again in September. So the market could be bullish for the next few days and then get bearish. It's hard to short things for me, especially when you've been trending lower, but this weekly candle on Bitcoin looks pathetic. Right? It looks absolutely pathetic. It's hard to short it here when you haven't even tested a 50% retracement of last week's range. But you could still look for shorts all the way up to 21,537. And, monthly support held. There's monthly support. So I could potentially see this trading all the way back up to there. This is the price at which people should have been a buyer on Bitcoin. And I said that the day of it. If you're looking to be a buyer on Bitcoin, buy it at monthly support. As long as it holds. And it held. It held on the monthly closing basis. All right. We did get back under it yesterday. But you're back above it today. So this is the price to watch for bullish entries on Bitcoin. For longer term entries. I'm not talking about day trades. Longer term entries. Longer term. Today you traded right down to it. And you're getting a little bit of bullish continuation from it. Monthly support. Ethereum didn't even come close to getting to monthly support. Not even close. Ethereum looks so much better than Bitcoin. It's still trading inside of this big down range here, but it still looks better as far as its structure goes. And though, the last several weeks have been extremely bearish on the SPX, looking at the monthly, it's not that bearish. As long as you're trading above 37.77, it's not that bad. And now this is going to be monthly support until you get under it. Yesterday you traded well down, testing daily support, and then you got right back above monthly support. And today you're getting continuation. Short trade might not be the best trade. Ethereum is getting ready to be at monthly resistance. So I guess if looking for shorts, watch there. And we've already heard one person say if it gets up to 1690, they're looking to short it. But Bitcoin looks really bad on the month, on the week, on the day. Well, not today, but it still doesn't look that good. On the week, it looks pathetic. And this was your last support zone on Bitcoin. I mean, weekly, sorry. Tested it, breakdown, so you could trade all the way to there before you start to see any real resistance. And it's a long ways away, right? That gets you well above and outside of this range. So NFP just didn't provide any trade entry. Not the one we were looking at. Trading news isn't my forte. Like I said, you get a lot of volume on that day. And since everything's been trading off pretty hard for a while, it doesn't make sense looking for shorts that much. Bitcoin's monthly support is where it was the best place to look for entries. But as you can see on this chart, well, since the 26th, the 27th of August, you've been trading at, around, under, above this level. So it's not making for a very easy entry, but bullish trade away from it. If it comes back in close to it, then you can look for bullish entries if you expect September to be bullish. Also, today is the 2nd of September. So if you're going to see a bearish month of September, you gotta wait for September's high to be put in. Where is September's high going to be? Last month, in August, it took all the way to the 13th or the 14th for the DXY to put in monthly low. And then it got an expansion from there. So we'll watch this for potential short entries. Last month's range is going to put your midpoint well up into 22K. Because those last 3 bearish weeks of the month. 22, 346, 364. Well, let's see if there's anything there on the weekly or daily time frame. Not really. The 618 would be weekly supply, which is where we were looking for Bitcoin to get to last week. But last week you had more downside. And on the daily, still really nothing there. We'll keep an eye on it. I mean, there's a beautiful daily support. There's your breakdown, retest of that. Let's see if that holds as resistance right here. If it does, next couple, 3-4 days, we'll look for any kind of bearish reactions there. Maybe that marks the high of September. But everybody's looking for a lower September also. Keep that in mind. So many people have been all over YouTube saying, you've only gotten 3 up closed months in September in Bitcoin's entire history. The rest have been bearish. And we know that with the SPX as well. Typically, August, September are bad months for the SPX. But that doesn't mean that it will be this month. This month, it could be bullish all month long. There's monthly support. It's up to you to decide if you want to look for longs for the month of September or shorts for the month of September. If you want to look for shorts for the month of September, this is the first place to watch. But I'm like everybody else. I don't know what price will do, so I can't tell you what will happen when price gets there. But we can watch what happens when price gets there. So, still on Ethereum, you're trading as an inside hourly. You're still trading under the high day. You did get a close above. 5 minutes until the open. Let's get a SPY up here. Internet's lagged up. Not that bad though. Pre-market, you're gapping up there. Above yesterday's. This is yesterday's close, the previous day's open. You're trading above it. That is potential supply. That is a long way away. But you have made a higher high on Bitget's exchange. If you do want to trade with Bitget, there's a link in the description. It is an affiliate link. Make sure you use code XTSC when you make a new account. I mean, you don't have to sign up to it. You can. There's no KYC, so you can just transfer cold storage money straight over to Bitget onto the exchange. They have the lowest fees. They're a really good intraday traders platform because of the lowest fees. If you're going to take multiple day trades, then you don't want to be getting killed in fees. Bitget is the exchange. XTSC is the referral code. X-Ray Tango Sierra Charlie. But fresh high a day on that exchange. Bitcoin trading above daily res. There's the monthly support, which you're well off of that, so it's not that far. You know it's down here. You know today traded right to it, right? Just sideways choppy price action on Bitcoin. And SPY was straight down. So, I mean, you can see that the dollar is comparable to the price action that you've been seeing on Bitget. I mean, on Bitcoin. Euro USD is pretty much the inverse of the dollar. Big bullish engulfing there, so close above resistance even intraday at 1 minute on the open. 1656 ETH daily supply. Shit, that's the wrong one. Give me a second and I'll look. Yes. Does that mean it will hold as resistance? It does not. But it is a good spot to watch for short entries. But just understand that you're shorting into strength. It's up almost 4% on the day. There it is. That's the level right there. Here's your open. You're getting a slight pullback off the open. Euro USD back under resistance. Got so much stuff right in here, so close. This is the last portion of the volume for today. Bitcoin back under the high of day. Ethereum still under the high of day. I still reckon it's a short. That data sucks. They can totally hike into it. They damn sure can. They damn sure can. It's not always the wrong trade to look for the fade. That's why we were watching to get short. You have an obvious area to mark risk on, being the high of day. So you can take the short anywhere under here. As long as you're trading under the high of day, use that as your risk. You can risk only 1% on a trade to see if you're right. That's the whole point of trading. Nobody knows if it's going to work or not. But if you want an obvious place to mark risk, you have one. If you think you're going to get more bullish continuation, then I don't even know if I would try to take the short at 1656. But yeah, the numbers are not pretty. There's other numbers there as well that, you know what I mean? It was a miss on average hourly earnings year over year and month over month, forecasted at 5.3%. I don't have the participation rate for whatever reason. Well, yeah, I do, actual, but there wasn't any forecast. Average weekly hours, like the market takes in all this info into account. Not just the top two. Those are the big numbers. But the market will take into account all those numbers. You have the market's reaction. You have the news, then you have the market's reaction to the news. But everything has been bearish for a long time, right? Bitcoin hasn't really been doing much of anything. Ethereum has been a nice trade. Now, if I was looking for long entries on the Euro USD, I'd be watching that price right there. And you can see how you tagged it, and you're getting a slight move up. But it doesn't look great. The price action's not great. There's your new spike. You almost sold it all the way back off again, and you're bouncing. But it's been choppy as of late. The dollar has been extremely choppy as of late. Look at this chop. Chop, 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 chop. Choppy, choppy. Disgusting. A lot of your better trades have been coming from the London session, no doubt. But the London session didn't do anything today. The London session didn't set the low or high. Because here is the open. Right there's your daily open, so that is also the low of day. So the Asian session put in the low of day. The New York session has put in the high of day as of now. And you can clearly see that that supply right there is where it stopped. Dead. So if you're looking for small entries, you get bounce plays like that easily. Daily levels. Bounce plays, higher time frame, hourly, 4-hour supports, resistance, supplies, demands. But Bitcoin's got so many of them to watch in this area. It makes it difficult. And Ethereum is trading over everything. Right? Ethereum is trading over everything. Get SPX back up over there because that is basically the E-minis. It isn't the E-minis. It is it's a CFD that tracks the E-minis. But this asset's open is like in here somewhere, the daily open. I think it's close to when Bitcoin opens. Well, we can get it just by simply going here and doing this. There's multiple candles there that could have been it. It's this bearish candle. This is what time it opened. Right there. And that is 1800 hours. 6 o'clock p.m. is when it opens. And you got multiple levels there as well. The last supply zone, or the top supply zone, is that. That's a big spike from intraday. This is the open on this asset right there. That's what it looks like. It doesn't have anything in there where its wick ran into. But it works the same on this as well, right? You got hourly res there, $400. $400 is a big figure number, so getting a slight bounce to the downside on the open isn't unheard of. Ethereum on Bitget's making a fresh high of day, where it's trading at the old high of day, I should say. It didn't quite get up there. Almost, though. Almost. Your high of day on Bitget. Pull it up. 1644.73. This candle here is your high of day on Bitget. This 5-minute bearish candle. Your USD is into daily supply and in a downtrend. Yes, Wes, it is. It's also into intraday supply. You're up almost, you're up though big, 0.59% on the day. But you are correct. Today's close will be vital. Parity is a big figure. $1. Big, big number on this. Alright. With Oanda's data, that you've never been there before. But I think FXCM might have more data. No. Yeah, it does. Yeah, FXCM has a lot more data. You can see that parity level. Let's just get it close. We can go in and change its coordinates. Boom, there's parity. Tagged. Acted as resistance here. Tag. So, I mean, it's a big level. It's a big level. That's for sure. And you're trading as an inside week also. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you're going to see downside continuation. The dollar looks bullish as crap. Yesterday you broke out. You didn't break down on daily support on euro, but as long as you're closing under 1.00160, I like the short. And then today it tagged today's high of day, tagged intraday supply to perfection. To perfection. SPY fresh low of day. So what you got to watch on this is a gap fill. If you even get there, there's support. Right there, support. This is gap fill. And that's support. Someone's making money off chop. You can if you trade the range highs and the range lows. It's not my favorite thing to trade. Bitcoin struggling at daily resistance. Well, it's coming back into daily resistance. Let's say that. Daily res right there. This will be gap fill on the SPY, so you could see a bounce from there. And if you're risking that high on Ethereum, you're in good shape still, but you're bullish on the day. Very bullish on the day. Up 3%. Well, now you're down. But it's still a slow day. Got a mixed bag of unemployment numbers. Markets are, slow. Not like what you would expect to see on NFP day, especially with the euro. I mean, euro usually gets cranking when you get those numbers. How many people do you think is buying euro at one? The XY is still holding intraday support. That's just the old high, old July high. And then that's daily resistance. So that could hold as support. And if it does, you're going to see bullish continuation. This is a fresh breakout. It got up there multiple times and then rejected. So it did look like it was running out of room. Get one big strong daily up and over resistance. Take out that day's low. Then it's going to look like that's going to be the near term top, which would be good for risk and Bitcoin and Ethereum. That would give it all it needs to go higher. Monthly support is down here. It's hard to buy bearish markets, though. This day opened, went lower, made a fresh high of day, and then just traded off for the rest of the day. But it didn't go very far. So you're still trading above yesterday's close. That's yesterday's high, but yesterday's close is right in there. You're trading above it. You gotta love it when you get a nice little bounce and then everything stays sideways for hours. We're 15 minutes into the open and we haven't seen a big move, so I don't know if the fade is the trade today, guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen. Simply because you're still trading at the high. If you do want to watch that trade, then find a legit area to mark your risk on. I doubt you have much difference on this. Yeah, I mean, you don't. It's still at the lows. If I was looking for the short, I would want to see it get up to that. So watch that. You could get up there today easily. But your volume point of control is at the lows. A lot of volume coming in up here, though. The value area is down here. But you do have a lot of volume coming in up here. Later on today, this could end up changing to be the point of control. So you know where to mark your risk. High of day. The short would be much better if the point of control was up there. Ethereum has got a legit breakout working in its favor, so it could find support anywhere today. $23.44 and $16.38. So you shorted them both. 344. So up there. Top the rock, took the short on Euro USD, looking for a 4RR. DXY is trading under support, so that means the euro is trading up off of parity. I don't know what you're risking, but to get a 4R You're looking for prices to come way down in here, which isn't likely. You're very bullish on the day. You're up almost 0.6% on euro. This is daily support, and this is gap fill. Daily support is currently holding on the SPY. So if I was going to be trading this, and if I was expecting bullish price action, I would buy 398 calls. Because it's old daily support. But it needs to hold. 396 calls if you expect the gap to fill and then get bullish. Bitcoin, I hate Bitcoin right now. It just looks so bad. Look at Ethereum. Nice and strong today. And Bitcoin's still trading inside of everything. Ethereum broke out with a close above the 8-hour structure. Support, resistance. You're well above it. Well above it. Bitcoin is still inside of it all. Well, it's currently trading above it. If you're looking at this one. You can see the difference though on Ethereum. That's where you got to get above on Bitcoin. This is a resistance point that you are currently above, but it isn't the resistance point that you got to get above. It's there. Ethereum looks good. That is daily supply up there. It's coming back into daily support on the SPY. Are you going to hold? Did oil do anything? Or is it still bullish? Nope, it's being rejected. It's a nasty looking 4-hour candle. That was such a big bounce. And it just got back here, so it's trending lower. This is where maybe I would expect it to hold. Choppy. Boom, 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 boom. Ugly. September's a low volume time of the month, so we're gonna be expecting choppy, crazy, garbage, sideways price action. Love it. The longer it trades like this, the worse it starts to look. It needs to start getting some moves to the upside in order to see that bullish continuation. The high of day is still intact. Just curious. Point of control is at daily support. We don't know if they're buying it or selling it. We just know that there's a lot of interest here, because that's where the majority of the volume is. We can even go into it a little bit and see where the volume's at. You're always going to have more volume on the open. The longer this level holds, the more I am expecting it to move up. You got your big volume spike, then on this push lower, you got more volume there. So that could have been being bought. Volume control puts the majority of the volume traded at that daily support level at 398.21. On SPX, it's much different. The volume control on SPX is way lower. Or point of control, I should say. But it could be changing. Down here. I don't know why you're sending me those screenshots, Mr. Brian. I can't make heads or tails out of them. I just see you bought a ton of stuff. Not sure what you're doing, my man. Oh, gotcha. What is XLE doing? I know it had a big down day yesterday. It's right back into that area we were watching on this day. So you did get a bullish reaction there on this day, but yesterday you gapped under it. So this was the day where you got the bullish trade, boom, up, and then downside continuation, trading under it. You're back above it again today. It's just, yeah, it's difficult trading. This will get, oil will help lead this. If oil sees downside continuation today, XLE will more than likely go lower. And if the SPY also continues to trend lower, it will go lower. This level has been being screwed around with for a long time. If you get under it, it's probably going on down. $77. But it's not a big moving, it's not a high beta stock or ETF, I should say. VIX isn't doing anything. VIX has not been a good indicator of what we're seeing in the markets. That's not the VIX. Where is the VIX? There it is. VIX is down today. Which this is lagged up also. No, it's not. It says 10 o'clock. I thought this was lagging. Been getting killed. Getting ready to see gap fill on the SPY. The futures. The futures are lagging. That's what's lagging. On the Bitcoin futures, I have lagged prices there. So no point in looking at intraday. Can it get to gap fillage in the village? Right there. You got to get there. So essentially the SPY has sold off all of its gains that it got pre-market. Fade the move. Lashy. I don't know how to say your name. I apologize, but you have probably done good. Selling Bitcoin and Ethereum. What was your entry? 1638. So right in there. Not bad. This will be gap fill, so you're likely going to get a bounce if you get there. I don't know how high the bounce goes. If it turns up, end up being the low of day or not on the SPY. But this is the low of the news print here on the SPX. So if you get to 39.63.30, you will have completely retraced the entirety of the bounce. Which will also put you right on the day. That's your open. You're getting really close to the open of the day. Is Bitcoin getting any differences? No, still down there. Not even big up there. Not like Ethereum. Ethereum had two volume node spikes there. See them there and there. Boom, boom. And there it goes. So my entry's still intact. High of day. Stop up there. Kind of moving away. Let me see. Let me get it pulled back up. It's not a huge trade. Did it tag it? No. It was close. So we know that this is just intraday supply. That could actually hold has support. SPX been getting crushed. Panion was a great short. It gave 22,642 opportunities to get short, but I wasn't paying attention to price. I was watching the stream. Cam Wright came right into daily supply, daily res. Your USD short might look better in a second. Where should ETH bounce? I don't want to see it get red on the day, so if you're looking for bullish entries, maybe watch there, 1606. You can see how it was resistance, 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 resistance. So if it gets back down there, that's where I'd want to see it bounce. But I don't know if I would take the trade. It just depends on where these things are. Because these things follow the SPX really, really good. I mean, they trade almost hand in hand. If the SPX turns red on the day and starts trending lower, then I would definitely not be expecting that to bounce. If the SPX finds support and starts to trend higher, then this is where I would expect a bounce. Because remember, Ethereum has broken out of a descending trend line. And that is typically looked at as bullish, especially when the trend line or the pattern you're looking at here is a descending wedge. If you use that bearish candle there, you can clearly see the descending wedge there, right? Boom, boom. Yesterday you broke out of it. Today you pulled back into yesterday's range a little bit and you're getting bullish continuation. It's not typically what you want to short, right? The trade would have been more likely looking for a test of yesterday's open for bullish entries. It didn't get there. So for the last 2 days, Ethereum, we wanted to get bullish, but it hasn't provided any bullish entries. So, and that's not the best way or preferred way to trade. The best thing to do is if you don't get the entry that you're looking for, is you sit on your hands. You sit on your hands. You wait until you get the entry that you want to see. But as of right now, you have broken out of a descending wedge, which is typically looked at for bullish continuation. You are trading at the 50 on the daily time frame, on the RSI. You already hit this once and was sold off. The fact that you're back at it at a lower high means that there is some divergence going on there. So I don't love the short. I would much rather be looking for bullish entries. And then the same goes for Bitcoin. As long as you are trading above monthly support, I like it long. There's your close last month. It was above. Now, this could just be forming the top end of this monthly candles range. So you could potentially look for shorts. Just depending on how high this goes into last month's range. But we got a lot of FOMC. We got a lot of central bank meetings this month. A lot of them. So you're going to see potential volatility. So if I pull up the central bank calendars for September, you have the FOMC, September 21st. ECB, European Central Bank, September 8th. That's next week. BOE, Bank of England, Great British Pound, September 15th. The Swiss National Bank, September 22nd. Bank of Canada, September 7th. Bank of Japan, BOJ, September 22nd. New Zealand doesn't have a meeting in September. It's in October. And then you got Reserve Bank, RBA, right there, September 6th. So next week, at the beginning of the week, we have two big, at the beginning of the week, in the middle of the week, you got RBA and you got ECB at the beginning of next week. All month long, tons of volatility. You also have CPI on the 13th. You got a lot of volatility inducing news items next month, or this month, I should say. So, I mean, it's going to be hard to trade. But if you're bullish on Bitcoin, that's the level at which you want to be a buyer. If you're bearish on Bitcoin, then you're going to be looking somewhere in that range for potential for potential shorts, expecting that to be the top of the month. And there's two potential levels there. There. And it's easy if you just wait for these levels, right? This is all weekly support. There's the breakdown. So if we're going to look for bearish continuation, you would want to see that come in up here or here. If you were to get up in here, I would just say to wait for this. All right? Because that would be a potential. It's not a monthly high, though. All right? So maybe, yeah, forget that. Just watch that. But these are two areas of potential support, simply because if you're looking for downside continuation in September, but just understand that monthly support is there. And you can, obviously there's a lot of volume being thrown down there because it's monthly support. So people are going to get long. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, since all we're basically looking for today is, I don't know what, right? It's not a big day. Look at how little this daily range is, and we had news. This should have been a huge candle today with the NFP. Should have been a big range. Ethereum's looks okay. You're still trading at the top of the day, so I'm not sure that short's going to work out. You're coming right back in. You're coming in hot. Look at the SPY. Look at SPX. Boom, right there. Finding support at where? Daily support. There it goes. Right there. Got under it, and then you're right back above it. Yesterday you were bullish. This morning you were bullish. So you didn't quite sell off the news print. This is the new spike here. You come in for a retest, see what happens. So there's not really anything to do. Still holding shorts. That's your risk. If you keep closing 5-minute candles up in this region, I would just close that trade. Same on Bitcoin, little spike, nothing major, but it's choppy. Tiny range day. It's just choppy markets. Difficult to trade. We don't really have any specific major levels that we want to take entries at, other than just expecting this to fade. That's all we had. Euro USD's at a very big level, being parity. I'm not sure I would want to be shorting into that while you're above it. But as long as resistance holds for you, anybody that's short Euro USD, you do not want to see an hourly closure above 1.00106. If you get that closure, you're probably going to see bullish continuation. As long as you're not closing above that and your entry's higher than that, you're probably safe. But like I said, even here, on the SPY, you do have a pretty decent bullish day, but it's still an inside day. You're trading inside of yesterday's range. So the only potential entries is daily supply or daily support. Daily support's long gone. And the same goes for DXY. You had a breakout yesterday. Today you are trading as an inside day. This marks for bullish continuation. Bullish continuation on this means the fade trade on Bitcoin and Ethereum will likely work out. But this has to trade much lower and take out yesterday's low. As long as you're trading up here, you have bullish potential still on the dollar. You just broke out yesterday. That's your breakout point. You also smoked July's high 4 days ago, right there. So if you were looking for downside continuation on the dollar, I would have wanted to see it happen after that. What happened? Support held 1, 2, 3 days. Yesterday, boom, up. Today's just a pullback. And it is going to be looked at as just a pullback till there. So your fade trades could potentially work. But Ethereum is pushing right up. Right back up. So today's going to be important for the dollar, for Ethereum, for Bitcoin. If the dollar starts to break out, we know that this thing can rock and roll for multiple days. Multiple days. The short squeeze will commence. I mean, you can see how volatile it got right back up there. Now you're breaking out. So 1 day, 2 days of pullback. If it's still not getting above this day's high, then it's going to look like it's just running out of steam. But remember, not much volume in the month of September for the markets. October, November, December are the best months to trade when you get a lot of volatility, get some trend continuation. But the dollar is definitely trending to the upside. There's no doubt about it. None. And you just got that fresh breakout yesterday. So we'll see what happens. Fresh bullish breakout on the dollar could spell disaster for this. 2 days of pullback. But it looks good for today. So not really anything to do. Apologies. Y'all have a fantastic day. If you got any questions, as always, drop them down in the comment section below. I will answer them. And we'll see you on Tuesday. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading.